Hey guys! For those who don't know me, my name's Jasmine. I'm a qualified counsellor and all-round awesome person, and I'm going through the next big stage of my life, which is weight loss surgery! And it's now been a week since my operation, since Tinkering Day. So in this video, I just wanted to give you guys the quick statistics, where I'm at the moment in terms of the weight loss, and also the 5 main things that I've learned this week. So let's start with those boring statistics and get that out of the way. So I went into Tinkering Day at 159 kilos, and when I weighed myself this morning, I came in at 156. So I've lost about 3 kilos in the past week, thanks to this operation. And also thanks to the diet I'm on, which at the moment now consists of clear and opaque liquids. I guess you can say I'm on a free liquid diet. So now I'm going to move into those 5 things that I particularly learnt in this first week of the surgery, and how I think that's going to change my perception of this whole journey moving forward. So the first thing, I kind of touched on it in my previous video, and if you haven't seen it, it's in the description below, but I noticed straight after taking that SIP test that I was taking too big of a mouthful, which resulted in my stomach area hurting, even if it's for the smallest of moments. So what I have learnt in this first week in particular is to take smaller sips. Like, I'm talking less than 5 mils at a time. I've seen in some Facebook posts and blogs and things like that they've been able to take larger sips and have a wider span of time in between each sip. And that's what I tried in that sip test, is one maybe 8 to 10 mil sip and then 15 minutes between that and the next one, just to make sure it all goes down well. And I found out really quickly it didn't work for me. So what I've resulted to now is taking up to 5 mils of a sip and then waiting 1 or 2 minutes at most before my next sip. Once I feel I'm good, once I feel like, yeah, I've got the green light, nothing's going to come back up, for me it's about 1 or 2 minutes, then I can go ahead and take the next sip. And I guess that first week is the perfect time to go and experiment with that stuff if you haven't already done so in your pre-op diet. And heck, even if you did experiment with that in your pre-op diet, it's so much different coming out of the operation, because now you've got some kind of indicator to tell you when it's too much, instead of just relying on your instinct. The second thing I noticed throughout this week is how much time I have saved by not having to cook large amounts or decide what I'm going to have for dinner and ordering takeout. Now it's maybe a mug, cup of soup, or some juice, or something to that effect, and that's my meal. A matter of pouring something into a cup. And there are times in which I'm like, okay, well, what do I do with all this spare time? I think that's when I realised how much time is spent on food. And I don't just mean preparing the food or getting the takeaway. I mean thinking about food. Before the operation, I have had moments where I would be sitting down at breakfast and thinking, oh, well, what am I going to have for dinner? And I do the same thing for dinner and thinking about lunch the next day. Oh, am I going to make something for lunch for tomorrow, or am I going to, get something from the local restaurant? So I've used that time to relax, let myself heal, watch some TV shows that I haven't had the chance to watch as of late. And it's astounding to me looking back on the last week and just realizing how much extra time I've had to do something other than focus on food. I imagine even with the upcoming stages, the puree, the soft foods, the regular diet, that I would still be spending less time thinking about food. It's kind of like a surprise side effect of getting tinkered with, but it has been a welcome side effect and something I greatly appreciate now because I can do so much more. Number 3 on the list of things that I've learnt this week is that I sleep so much more post-operation, and my sleep quality is so much better. Aside from the first 1 or 2 days after I got home from the hospital, I haven't been taking naps all day. I have been waking up, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'll be awake up until about 9, sometimes 10 o'clock when I'd fall asleep. Now this is despite having to sleep in only one position, being on my back. It's another thing that I'm really grateful for because I don't think I've ever felt so alert during the day, and I'm surprised to say that. The 4th thing that I had realized during this first week is how often I am asking about when I can have certain foods. When can I have a chocolate mousse? When can I have custard? When can I have risotto? When can I have animal proteins? Things like that. Because I had my mother next to me, and because ads will come up on TV, I just got curious. And it's so interesting seeing how different it is from a physician or a surgeon's point of view, as opposed to a patient who's been through all that. The other thing I noticed with this is that aside from me asking about this with my mother often, it's also given me something, I guess, to look forward to in those days where I've been tired of having the same crap over and over again. It gets boring. I find it helps to know that in 2-3 weeks time I can move onto something more solid than what I've got now. I mean, heck, even the puree stage at the moment looks bloody enticing to me. But it's a way for me to remind myself that there are more exciting times ahead in terms of food choices. And while we're on things that I can and cannot have, the 5th thing that I've learnt this week is that my liquid choices are not the same as everyone else's. I've seen posts and blogs and YouTube videos all endorsing this protein water. It comes in a few different flavors, and it's really good, and I drink it all the time. It goes down better than water and all that sort of stuff. I tried it, day 4 post-operation? No. That protein water stuff does not like me, and I do not like it. Not that it didn't go down well, went down fine, but taste-wise, to me it was grainy, didn't quench my thirst at all. The different flavors, they just didn't suit my palate at all. Luckily, I had some alternatives with me, including the sugar-free Gatorade, or what I'm having now, the orange Powerade, half mixed with water and a scoop of tasteless protein in it. And I tell you what, it goes down very well for me. The taste is bearable, like for me to have every day. And even with a scoop of the tasteless protein, I don't taste anything other than a diluted version of the Powerade of Gatorade. So in amongst these 5 things that I've learned, again, this is just reinforcing that every person's journey is different. Some people might be able to tolerate more than me. Some people might be able to tolerate less than me. Some people might be sleeping 20 hours a week. Others might be sleeping 5. Everyone's journey is different, but there's always little bits and pieces of every story that we all relate to. So if you've had the story, I want to hear from you. Is there any of this that you relate to? And if there isn't anything, how was your first week different? leave a comment for me down below. And if you haven't yet, feel free to like, share it around the world and subscribe. But until next time, don't forget, you're all awesome, in case no one's told you today. And I'll see you next week. Bye.